Imagine being the Queen of England and still hearing that you are not allowed to walk into a certain room. Sounds unbelievable, right? Yet insiders close to the royal circle say that is exactly the kind of tension now surrounding the Sandringham estate. Behind the heavy palace doors, Princess Anne, the famously tough and no-nonsense Princess Royal, has reportedly taken serious legal action to secure control over a private wing of Sandringham. According to sources, this move has quietly shut down Queen Camilla's hopes of turning that section into her own peaceful summer hideaway at one of the monarchy's most treasured estates. So what is really going on here? Why would one of the most respected and disciplined figures in the royal family suddenly draw a bold legal line like this? Some insiders believe this situation goes far beyond simple property issues. It hints at deeper tensions, long-standing traditions, and a struggle over who truly controls certain royal spaces. To understand why this situation is raising eyebrows, you have to understand what Sandringham actually represents.
The monarchy provides, with the Constitution, a degree of long-term stability that is actually quite hard to come by any other way.
This is not just another grand house on a royal map. Sandringham is considered one of the emotional heartlands of the British monarchy. The massive estate stretches across about 20,000 acres of beautiful parkland in Norfolk, roughly 110 miles north of London. The property was first purchased in 1862 by Queen Victoria as a gift for her heir, the future King Edward VII, and since then it has remained a privately owned residence of the reigning monarch, passed down through generations of the royal family. Unlike many famous royal buildings, Sandringham is not owned by the Crown or controlled by the British government. It is something far more personal. The entire estate is the private property of the reigning monarch, passed down directly from one sovereign to the next. That detail changes everything. Sandringham is not national property. It belongs to the king himself. When Queen Elizabeth II passed away in September 2022, the estate immediately transferred into the personal ownership of King Charles. For the royal family, Sandringham is more than land and buildings. It is a place loaded with memories and royal tradition. Every Christmas, senior members of the monarchy gather there for their famous holiday celebrations. It is also the place where Queen Elizabeth spent her final days, making the estate even more emotional for the family.
For the rest of us, it's more a question of, okay, we have to shift the way we support. And that's what we need to do.
Prince Philip also had a special connection to the estate. After stepping away from public life, he chose to live quietly at Wood Farm, a smaller home tucked away within the Sandringham grounds. The massive estate is filled with historic properties spread across its huge landscape. There's Wood Farm, Anmer Hall, used by Prince William and Princess Kate, Park House, known as the birthplace of Princess Diana, plus several working farms like Marsh Farm. One residence on the estate is currently home to Andrew Mountbatten Windsor, who moved there after leaving Royal Lodge in Windsor.
I think there were not many people who understood just how broad his interests were and how supportive he was of an astonishingly wide range of organisations.
For decades, different parts of Sandringham were shared through quiet family agreements. Certain royals used certain homes, and everyone respected those informal understandings. But times have clearly changed. Now, insiders say these once friendly arrangements are becoming far more official and tense. When royal family members begin bringing lawyers into the discussion, it is usually a clear sign that those old gentlemen's agreements have completely fallen apart. The Anne-Camilla fault line, a rivalry that never truly faded. Before looking at the legal drama itself, there is one uncomfortable reality inside the palace that cannot be ignored. For nearly 50 years, whispers about the tense relationship between Princess Anne and Queen Camilla have floated through the corridors of Buckingham Palace. This friction did not suddenly appear when Charles married Camilla in 2005, even though that moment certainly pushed old tensions back into the spotlight. Reports say the strain goes all the way back to the 1970s, when Camilla Parker Bowles first became closely linked with Prince Charles. That relationship later became one of the most talked about royal situations in modern history. It eventually led to the breakdown of Charles's marriage to Princess Diana and shook the royal household in ways that many family members struggled to accept. Princess Anne, known as the Princess Royal, has built a reputation as one of the most dedicated figures in the monarchy. Year after year, she carries out more royal engagements than almost any other working royal, showing a strict sense of duty and discipline. Anne is often described as focused, direct, and extremely traditional about what royal service should look like. She avoids chasing media attention and rarely speaks about personal matters, which is why many palace observers see her as one of the steady pillars holding the modern monarchy together. Camilla's arrival into the royal circle happened during one of the most controversial chapters the family had faced. For many years, she dealt with strong criticism from parts of the public, and insiders say several senior royals, including Anne, were not quick to warm to the situation. While Queen Camilla has spent years rebuilding her public reputation, and many believe she has made real progress, insiders say the quiet tension between her and Princess Anne never truly disappeared. People close to the palace household have even described their relationship as a kind of cold war inside palace walls. Most of the time, it stays controlled and polite, but every now and then the pressure raises and the disagreement becomes impossible to ignore. One palace insider reportedly explained the divide very clearly. According to them, Anne believes Camilla is slowly pushing beyond what she sees as the proper limits of her role. Meanwhile, Camilla is said to feel that Anne sometimes lets family loyalty influence her judgment too strongly. That deep suspicion between the two women has now spilled into something far more concrete, a dispute centered on the historic grounds of Sandringham itself. But there is another key figure who helped ignite this situation: Andrew Mountbatten Windsor.
To understand the legal tension now brewing around the estate, you have to follow the chain of events that unfolded after Andrew's dramatic fall from royal life. In October 2025, King Charles officially removed his younger brother Andrew from his remaining royal titles, honors, and privileges connected to royal properties. Andrew had already faced massive public criticism following his widely discussed television interview about his past association with convicted offender Jeffrey
Allegations
Epstein.
regarding the misuse of royal association through Meghan's Archwell Foundation
of a
are
memoir
now under
by
legal
Virginia
review.
Giuffre. After these events, Andrew was required to leave the large 30-room royal lodge near Windsor. Instead, he was relocated to Wood Farm, a far smaller and quieter residence located on the Sandringham estate, a move that quietly shifted the balance inside the royal family's private world. Then came a moment that stunned royal watchers everywhere. On the morning of February 19, 2026, Andrew's 66th birthday, the situation took a dramatic turn. Unmarked police vehicles reportedly arrived at the Sandringham estate, launching coordinated searches at Wood Farm in Norfolk and Royal Lodge in Berkshire. Andrew Mountbatten Windsor was taken to a local police station, where he remained for about 11 hours before being released while the investigation continued. The development sent shockwaves through the royal world. Historians quickly pointed out how rare something like this is. The last time a sibling of a reigning monarch faced arrest was centuries ago, when Queen Elizabeth I had her sister Mary detained in 1554. That comparison alone shows just how extraordinary the moment felt. King Charles later released a brief statement saying that the law must take its course, making it clear that the matter would be handled through the proper legal process. But this is the point where Princess Anne stepped firmly into the picture, and where the story reportedly becomes far more intense. According to several insiders, Anne has been quietly but strongly advocating for her brother behind the scenes. While she has never defended the controversy itself, sources say she has pushed for Andrew to be treated with basic dignity during the investigation. Reports claim she has even spoken directly with King Charles and Prince William, raising concerns about Andrew's mental well-being during the ongoing pressure surrounding him. Some palace insiders now describe Anne as the driving force behind a quiet internal effort to ensure the royal institution does not completely distance itself from Andrew. Queen Camilla, however, is said to see the situation very differently. According to sources, she believes that offering any visible support could damage the monarchy's already fragile public image. One palace source claimed Camilla was genuinely appalled that Anne continues to push the issue at all. And now this disagreement about Andrew's future has reportedly spilled into something even bigger, a dispute over space, access, and legal authority at Sandringham itself. That leads directly to the latest development raising eyebrows inside royal circles, the legal step reportedly taken by Princess Anne's lawyers. So what exactly did Princess Anne's legal team do, and why could it disrupt Queen Camilla's summer plans at Sandringham? According to sources familiar with the situation, Anne's lawyers have formally recorded and asserted her family's private use rights over a specific wing of the Sandringham estate. This action has reportedly locked in long-standing arrangements about who can use certain areas of the property. Importantly, this is not an attempt to claim ownership of land that belongs to King Charles. Sandringham remains the king's private estate. Instead, the move is about formally documenting usage rights that have existed quietly for years. In large historic estates across Britain, this kind of arrangement is actually quite common. When several generations of the same family use different homes or sections of land, lawyers often create formal occupancy licenses, customary use agreements, or scheduled access rights to prevent confusion later. For decades, Sandringham worked mostly on trust and tradition. Family members respected informal agreements about who stayed where, but insiders say by 2026, those unwritten rules had begun to fall apart. By bringing in legal representatives, Anne has effectively done two powerful things at once. First, she has created a clear legal paper trail confirming her family's established access to that part of the estate. Once something like that is documented, it becomes far harder for anyone inside the palace household to quietly change it. Second, the move sends a very direct signal within palace circles. The message many observers see is simple. Anne intends to protect the spaces her family has historically used. The timing of this legal step has also raised eyebrows. Sandringham House normally closes to the public between July 13th and August 3rd, a period when the royal family traditionally uses the estate for private summer gatherings. There had reportedly been quiet conversations about Queen Camilla possibly using one of the estate's private wings as a peaceful summer retreat during that time, separate from King Charles, who often spends part of the season at Balmoral in Scotland. But with Anne's legal documentation now in place, the specific area tied to her family's use is effectively off the table. And just like that, what once seemed like a simple summer plan has turned into yet another chapter in a growing royal power struggle.
Sources close to the royal circle say Queen Camilla was furious when news of the legal move surfaced. Officially, the palace has stayed silent and has not released any public statement about the dispute. But behind the scenes, insiders claim the mood around this situation has been extremely tense. To understand why this matters so much, it helps to look at Camilla's long and complicated relationship with property and personal privacy, something that has shaped her life for decades. King Charles has always been deeply tied to land, estates, and countryside traditions. His identity is strongly connected to royal properties like Highgrove and Balmoral. Camilla, however, has historically kept a small sense of independence by holding on to a private retreat of her own. For many years, that sanctuary was Ray Mill House in Wiltshire, a beautiful countryside property she purchased in 1995 during her divorce from Andrew Parker Bowles. The house became her personal escape, a quiet place where she could simply be Camilla rather than a public royal figure. But things started shifting in early 2026. Reports began circulating that Camilla had quietly transferred ownership of Ray Mill House. The move caught attention because it suggested she might be stepping away from her long-held private refuge. At the same time, it was reported that King Charles purchased a neighboring countryside property for around £3 million, which brought their private living arrangements even closer together. With Mill House changing hands and Balmoral firmly remaining Charles's traditional summer base, Sandringham suddenly looked like the perfect alternative for Camilla, a peaceful place where she could carve out her own seasonal retreat. And that is exactly where Princess Anne's legal move appears to have complicated everything. For Queen Camilla, Sandringham offered something very valuable, a quieter corner of royal life. In that setting, she could spend part of the summer near the estate's famous gardens, which she has openly admired, while keeping a lower profile away from the constant pressure of London's royal schedule. But the specific wing now at the center of the dispute reportedly has long-standing ties to Princess Anne's household arrangements. According to sources, parts of that area have traditionally been used by the Princess Royal and her family during visits to the estate. Whether Camilla had concrete plans to move into those spaces, or whether Anne's action was a preemptive legal step, insiders say the result is effectively the same. A boundary has now been drawn, and a door that once may have been open has suddenly been shut. And that leaves one person standing directly in the middle of the tension: King Charles. The king now finds himself caught between two of the strongest personalities in the royal family, his sister Anne and his wife Camilla. Managing that balance would be difficult under normal circumstances, but the pressure on Charles right now is unusually intense. The monarch has been dealing with serious health challenges, while also guiding the institution through a period filled with public scrutiny and internal strain. In December 2025, he indicated that he would reduce the intensity of his cancer treatments, suggesting some stabilization in his condition. Even so, the diagnosis remains a serious matter and continues to affect his schedule. At the same time, the wider royal family has faced several difficult headlines. His brother Andrew has been pulled into renewed controversy, while his son Prince Harry remains largely distant from the family and involved in ongoing legal battles with British tabloids. All of this keeps the monarchy constantly in the public spotlight, and now, right in the middle of these pressures, a new internal conflict has emerged, a legal and personal dispute between Princess Anne and Queen Camilla over space at one of the royal family's most historic estates. Sources close to the palace say the situation has created an especially delicate moment behind the scenes. Sources say King Charles has been very hesitant to step into the middle of this dispute. The reason is simple: both women involved are incredibly important to him. Princess Anne has long been one of his most loyal allies. During his recent health struggles, she has reportedly stood firmly by his side, offering both public support and quiet help behind the scenes. At the same time, Charles deeply relies on Queen Camilla. Many royal observers believe she has been a steady and stabilizing presence in his life, especially during the demanding years of his reign. One royal aide reportedly summed it up perfectly, saying both women are strong-willed and neither one is known for backing down. That reality places the king in a very delicate position as he tries to keep peace inside the family while protecting the stability of the monarchy.
For now, Charles has chosen a strategy of silence. He has not publicly taken sides, and insiders say he hopes the situation might cool down on its own. But people close to the palace say that silence may actually be making things worse. In royal politics, staying quiet rarely means true neutrality. Instead, it often allows disagreements to grow behind the scenes until they become impossible to ignore. And at Sandringham, this conflict has already crossed an important line. It now exists inside formal legal documents. Once lawyers are involved, these matters rarely disappear quietly. Princess Anne's legal team has reportedly secured documented rights over specific sections of the estate. In practical terms, this means those areas are off-limits to Queen Camilla for the time being. What once might have been solved through a private family conversation has now become a legal issue, and the implications stretch far beyond a single summer plan. For generations, Sandringham has served as the royal family's most personal retreat, the place where they could relax, gather, and live away from the intense spotlight of public life. Sandringham has always held a powerful place in royal history. Queen Elizabeth II deeply loved the estate, and it was also where King George VI passed away, making the property forever tied to some of the monarchy's most emotional moments. Every year, the royal family gathers there for Christmas, not because they are required to, but because Sandringham has long felt like a true family home, rather than just another royal residence. That is exactly why the involvement of lawyers has raised so many eyebrows. When legal teams begin drafting documents over access and rights inside a family estate, it signals something serious. The old system of trust and quiet understanding may be fading. By bringing in lawyers, Princess Anne appears to be sending a clear message. The era of informal family agreements may be over. Instead of relying on unwritten traditions, she's choosing legal certainty for her household, even if it risks adding tension inside the family. Queen Camilla, however, is not known for backing away from difficult situations. Now 78 years old, she stands more confident in her royal role than ever before, especially after spending years facing heavy public criticism earlier in her life. Because of that, many observers doubt she will simply accept the situation quietly. The real question is whether Camilla will escalate the dispute, which could attract even more public attention, or find another way to secure her place within the estate's private spaces. Meanwhile, Andrew Mountbatten Windsor continues living at Wood Farm on the Sandringham grounds, while remaining under police investigation. He has lost his royal titles and privileges, and reports suggest the situation has taken a serious personal toll. Princess Anne has reportedly been one of the few family members advocating for him during this difficult period, though the monarchy itself has remained firm in its official position. Through the decades, Sandringham has witnessed both the grand and the deeply human sides of royal life. It has been the setting for celebrations, quiet retreats, historic moments, and at times intense family drama that unfolds far from the public eye. Now, in 2026, Sandringham has quietly become the stage for something far bigger than a simple disagreement over property. What was once a peaceful royal retreat now sits at the center of a tense struggle involving power, space, loyalty, and legacy within the House of Windsor. The battle is not happening through loud public arguments. Instead, it is unfolding through carefully written legal documents, lines on paper that effectively warn certain people that some doors are no longer open to them. Princess Anne has drawn a very clear boundary at Sandringham, and she has backed that boundary with lawyers. The big question now is whether anyone inside the royal circle will try to challenge it. This situation goes far beyond the idea of a summer getaway. It raises a much deeper issue. Who truly holds influence inside the royal family when the king chooses not to take sides? What we're seeing is a family under enormous pressure, bound together by history and duty, yet still facing very real disagreements behind palace walls. It also leaves one lingering question hanging over Sandringham itself. Can this deeply personal royal sanctuary remain a place of family unity, or will it slowly turn into a legal battleground? If you found this story fascinating, make sure to like the video, subscribe for more royal
Allegations regarding
updates,
the misuse
and
of
share it
Royal
with others who
Association
follow
through
royal
Meghan's
news.
Archewell
And we would love to
Foundation
hear your
are now
thoughts.
under legal
Do you
review.
think Princess Anne was right to take legal action, or has this situation crossed a line that could change family relationships forever? Drop your opinion in the comments below.